Party time!
Viva Pinata, filled with fun.
Filled with fun!
Don't enjoy them all. Viva Pinata, filled with fun.
Filled with fun!
Viva Pinata, don't be enjoyed.
Carl and Damon here from Games, Brains and a Head-Banging Life. gbhblofficial for sure, and it is of course they made what into a TV series. Episode 16? It's nice to hear high numbers like that of the Viva Pinata TV show. This is the two segments, Rocket to Nowhere and Twingersnapped. Aired on March 10th, 2007. Segment 1, Rocket to Nowhere. Guess what, Damon? Fergie doesn't want to go to a party. I was like, no. Especially coming off episode 15, it's like, no.
Back this again.
Langston is demanding that he be at the cannon tomorrow. It does look like Fergie has run out of places to hide and the jig is up. And I was like, yeah, of course it is. I'm sure he totally will. It looks like he declares loudly that he will give up all his candy if he could have a place to hide, which the Bomboon overhears and comes up with a plan to scam him. He falls out of his tree and Fergie is glad to see him. The Bomboon starts to pretend to be all-knowing and suggests to Fergie and Paulie that he is a scientist and it has built a rocket ship. It can send a person 1,000,000 miles away, but it needs candy to run. Fergie offers up all his candy if he can use it, and the Bomboon agrees, telling Fergie to come tomorrow. Fergie is happy, Paulie is unconvinced. The usual thing. It's the usual thing. We've seen this scam before.
The two main characters, clearly.
Oh, Fergie and Paulie.
Yeah,
100%.
definitely.
Absolutely. The next day, the Bomboon has made a makeshift rocket as Fergie arrives with his candy. However, I did think like this. Fergie has been researching rockets and calls out some of the Bomboon's designs. He's like looking at over going, well, what I read and stuff like that. The Bomboon, though, is able to blow him off, taking the candy and putting Fergie inside. So it's quite an elaborate plan the Bomboon has here to kind of convince Fergie to go, well, he ain't going to be convinced, is he? But using tools like a washing machine and painted on star backgrounds controlled by a bike, the Bomboon is able to convince Fergie he's travelling through space. There's a funny line as Fergie's looking at the window at the moving stars and goes, oh my god, I didn't realise space looked so repetitive. I did like that. Wanting the candy, wanting the candy, the Bomboon now tries to retrieve it, but ends up pulling the rocket over. And the turbulence causes Fergie to get covered in green paint and then fall out. Looking around, he thinks he's on another planet, and you might be wondering, why would he think that? It just looked like Pinata Island. So basically, the helmet he put on and the paint has warped it to make it look quite unusual. Fergie begins to explore, finding Hudson home, who is bathing. Hudson, seeing Fergie through his window, freaks out and thinks he's an alien because he's all green.
Yep.
After Hudson is telling Teddy and Tina what he saw, and they're obviously not convinced, however, Fergie arrives behind him and they freak out, running off. Elsewhere, we cut back to see the Bomboon is still struggling to get the candy out of the rocket ship. Bit by bit, other Pinatas see the alien and stories about it begin to spread across Pinata Island. It becomes a terrifying monster, basically.
Yep.
Chinese whispers.
Yeah.
As the group meet to come up with a plan, Paulie comes along and wonders what is going on. He is told as Fergie arrives, and Paulie immediately recognises him. I did like that, though. Like, Paulie's like, this is Fergie.
Yeah.
The rest realise it is Fergie and approach him, but Fergie, seeing them all approach through his warped image, thinks they're aliens and freaks out, running off, and the rest give chase to try and help him. He arrives back at the rocket and plans to escape using it just as the Bomboon's latest attempt at candy goes into action. All of this coincidentally means Fergie is launched into the air and into space before he comes crashing back down. The candy pours out, the Bomboon is happy and starts to shovel it up. However, Fergie falls out and his helmet now comes off. He thinks he's back in Pinata Island and seeing the candy takes it, much to the Bomboon's annoyance. And the segment ends with a Planet of the Apes reference.
Yep.
It started off poorly,
yeah,
but I think this one has a lot of imagination that goes quite well together.
It does, yeah.
And weirdly, because like it's so silly, the idea of leaving, they do it in a way that I think is convincing enough to be entertaining.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't obviously, as you said, just to start again. Parties.
Yeah, it's just like
I mean, surely if Fergie had any sense, he knows that he can't go to a party without candy. So get your candy, go to the machine, it'll kick you out.
Yeah.
So then you believe away.
Yeah, it's still a whole full candiosity thing.
Yeah.
And I know they try to tie it in the fact that he's obviously very greedy and gluttonous a lot of the times, and there's elements like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought it was okay. I didn't really.
Three decent seconds. Yeah.
3. This is 1.
So
you talking about the previous episode? Okay, I'm not what? Oh, yeah. I think it was. I thought this was decent. Yeah. Less so with segment 2 though. I struggled with this one. I found this one really boring. Twingersnapped. There's a dance competition, but the third judge is missing. It's Teddy and Tina. Where are they? Arguing about being late and blaming each other. I was at least happy. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
We're not doing Fergie, we're not doing Paulie, we're switching to someone else. As they fight, they end up losing their judge's card and have to go after it. What?
Why do you have cardboard?
Why? What mean? You not having a card would mean you could be a
You
judge?
log in.
Whatever. The dance competition starts without them, with different pinatas not able to advance because of a split decision with just 2 judges. I did like that because it's like, of course, they're going to be 50-50.
Yeah, dog
and
and cat too.
yeah, the joke is it's the dog and the cat pinatas who automatically hate each other anyway,
Yeah.
so they're almost arguing with each other, constantly putting the opposite scores. Teddy and Tina find a judge's card, but have gone into deep jungle and are now lost. They begin to fight about what way to go and pull back and forth, but they end up fighting so much they fall onto a random buzzsaw, which at least they do acknowledge is odd. Because I was like, that's really odd.
Yeah,
but they acknowledge it.
At the bottom of a massive ravine.
But the problem is just because you acknowledge it doesn't mean it's any less stupid.
Yeah.
They manage to save themselves, but the judge's card floats down and then cuts them apart. I did like that.
Yeah.
The pair are launched back in the air in different directions, blaming each other. And Candy rains down on Professor Pester as Teddy and Tina celebrate being free. Pester and his minions decide to follow the trail of Candy to find the 2 pinatas, figuring, hey, don't get it. If the candy fell out, you have what you're after.
Yeah.
You don't need the pinatas.
Wow.
The dance competition continues with no one able to advance, basically. The crowd is getting extremely restless as Polly and Fergie wonder about the location of Tina and Teddy. Separately, Tina and Teddy are enjoying being alone until they begin to realise that they are actually alone. I know we don't have much time. I know we've got like 10, 11 minutes to do this, but it's like, oh, it's so great to be alone. Oh, wait, I'm alone.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, at least give it a minute or 2.
Straight away, I was, yeah.
I presume the idea would be, like most things, is they enjoy being alone until they realise, like for example, I haven't got anyone to talk to, or together we're stronger, like that kind of thing, which they will do at the end.
Yeah.
But my God, did it didn't even really give it any time to grow. It's like, all right.
As you said, they got so much little time to work with, they have to squeeze it in as quick as possible. But it was too fast.
It was, yeah. Presta Pesto is on fire though and actually manages to capture both of them cages. I was like, wow, that's rare. Hey, she did something. My God, Kirul, take some tips. He and the ruffians then drive off to his lair. Inside the cage, Tina and Teddy try to get out individually and argue about being unable to do anything on their own. They now realise they need each other, so tie themselves back together and use their combined skills to escape. I was a bit like, at this stage.
Yeah.
Angry Professor Pester demands his minions go after them, but he gets knocked off the car by a branch. Wah, wah, wah. Safe now, Teddy and Tina head off to the dance, happy to be back together. The dance is currently tied. It's a 30-way tie. I did laugh at that.
Yeah.
As they arrive and the competition finally starts properly. Hudson does an Irish dance and the 2 judges, they tie up a hat similarly, and it finally looks like, because I was like, oh right, Tina and Teddy are here, right? Except Tina and Teddy can't agree on what they just saw. And the episode ends with them arguing.
Yep.
I thought that was a twist. I know it's not a twist, but a good twist, because I was like, okay. And I was like, oh yeah, of course.
Yep.
They're just going to disagree now, and it means we're going to get nowhere again.
It'll be the same thing, yeah.
Boring episode though.
Yeah, indeed.
It's just done too quick. There's nothing really to learn here. Rocket to Nowhere is a bit more fun.
Yeah.
But that's about it, really.
Yeah.
Episode 16, Rocket to Nowhere and Twingersnapped. You got any thoughts, Sneak? You know what to do? Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please help us out by giving us a thumbs up and hitting that subscribe button. If you really liked what you saw, consider donating to keep the website and channel running by buying us a coffee via our coffee page or picking up some merch from our Big Cartel store. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as via our social media, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, as well as listen to our interviews via SoundCloud, Apple Music and Spotify. Just search for GBHBL. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?